Hello friends, in this video I'm going to show you how to import data from your flat file source and insert it in your SQL Server database. So for that we need to drag this data flow task. Let's rename it to insert data from flat file data from flat file to SQL. Now double click on it. When you double click on it, it will show you over here on the left side all what you can do in your data flow task. Like here is the source, the various source, like you can have the source as a Excel source, flat file source, or a OLE DB database source. Currently we have a flat file, so let's drag the flat file source. Next we have to insert the data in our SQL server, so let's drag an OLE DB destination. As you see here, we have two connections. I'm gonna remove it first of all. So now let's zoom in a bit. So this is our flat file source. Right click on it and click edit. Here we need to first create a flat file connection manager. So click on new. Here you need to browse the file name from where your CSV file is located. So my CSV file is located on the desktop. So this is a list of CSV. This is a list of books in this CSV. We're gonna import those all books in our SQL database. So once you have selected the CSV file, here you need to check here you need to select the options. By default the delimiter is comma separated, but you can select a pipe. Some CSV files are separated via pipe, some are via column, so you can change that over here. Mine is I will choose the default option. Next, go to the columns. Here also, if you want to change the comma to delimiter pipe, then you can do it over here. This is the content of my file. I have 3 books and their author name and their book ID. I'm going to insert this data in my SQL Server database. Here, if you want to remove any columns, if you have columns which don't have any data, then you can remove it over here. But I need to import all of these columns, so I'm just gonna use all the columns. Now since I'm fine with this setup, I'm gonna click OK. Here also you can see what are my columns and my output columns. Click OK. So now our flat file source is configured. Now let's configure the OLE DB destination. This will be the table in which I want to import this data. I will name and I will rename it to book list DB. Okay. Now let's click on edit. So first of all, you need to bind this flat file source to the OLE DB destination. Next, let's click on edit. As you see, we don't have any OLE DB connection manager, so click on new. Here this is my already created connection. I don't want it. I will create a new connection. since I'm using my local SQL Server database, so I'm gonna write localhost. I'm using Windows authentication. Now in this drop down I'm gonna select my local database, test the connection, click OK, and OK. Now it will show in the drop down the list of all the tables, but I don't want the existing table. I want to create a new table. So creating a new, it automatically creates the format the table. So it already checks and validates like what are the inputs columns and creates this table. So I'm gonna just rename it to book list. Okay, click on OK. So now when I go to my SQL database and I click refresh, the new table will be created. As you see, the new table has been created. I'm gonna select all rows. As you see, currently no data is there. Don't forget to check the mapping, else there may be errors, and you need to check like the book ID map to the book ID column, book to the book, author to the book. If you want, you can change here or ignore if you don't want to map any columns, but I want to map the columns, so I will choose book ID over here. Click OK. So now we have successfully configured our source and destination. Currently, as you see, there is no data in my table. When I run this task, so let's go to the SSIS and refresh. So you see the three new records which are in my CSV has been inserted. Okay, so I'm gonna stop it, and again I'm gonna run the same. Let's go to the database, refresh. So as you see, again these three records are inserted. So as you see, the same three records are getting inserted, but I don't want to insert the data which are already inserted. So how we can achieve it? We can achieve it via lookup. So I'm going to show you how you can do a lookup. You can go to here, the toolbox, and drag the lookup task. Create it. So lookup gives you two options: lookup match output, lookup no match output. If you select the match output, then you can, in the match output, you can select a ID or something which you want to include, which from the result you want that ID to be included in your destination. But currently I don't want any ID or something which I need to include in my destination, so I'll choose lookup no match out. Okay, now click on edit on lookup. So lookup, there are a few options, like specify how you want to handle the rows with no matching entries. So I don't want to fail the component. I want to redirect to no match. I want to redirect to no match output, which we have configured. Now here you need to select this OLE DB connection. So mine is the localhost, so it is already selected, and then you need to select the table on which you want to do the lookup. So my table is booked lists. I'm going to select it. Now the columns, here you will see all the columns from the input table, which is our flat file list, and this is our destination table. So here you need to select on which column you want to do lookup. So I want to do lookup on the book ID. So if the book ID matches, then I don't want to insert the record. If the book ID does not match, then I want to insert that record. So our lookup is successfully configured. Click OK. Now first of all, let me truncate the table. As you see, there are no records in this table. Now let's run our package. So it's saying that 3 rows are inserted. Well, let's refresh it. So you see 3 records are inserted. Now I'm gonna again run this. As you see, there are no 3 rows are coming here, but no rows are going in our destination. So let's refresh again. As you see, no records are inserted. Now we wanna edit our flat file, insert a new book like XYZ and author name ABC. We're gonna save this. Now let's run again. Yes, you see 1 row is inserted. So let's refresh again. As you see, one new row is accepted because this did not match the book IDs of these 3 rows, so it inserted, while the 3 rows which were already existing, it is not inserted. So that's it for this tutorial, this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe my channel. Thank you guys.